The World Cup final brawl between Argentina and Spain is no longer only a viral post-match moment. FIFA has appointed a disciplinary and ethics prosecutor to investigate what happened after Spain's 1-0 extra-time victory on July 19, 2026. Argentina midfielder Leandro Paredes was shown a red card after confronting Spanish players, while footage appeared to show several other physical exchanges involving players and staff. The result is already final. Spain are world champions, but the disciplinary outcome is not. The question now is whether FIFA will punish only the most visible incident or determine that a wider group crossed the line. The newest confirmed development arrived on July 20th. FIFA appointed a prosecutor to examine the confrontation and the circumstances surrounding it. The governing body did not provide a deadline for completing that investigation, and no final sanctions had been announced when this report was prepared. That distinction matters because online discussions have already treated possible suspensions as decided, when FIFA is still reviewing evidence and match reports. For verified entertainment updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. To understand why the confrontation escalated so quickly, the timeline has to begin before the final whistle. Spain entered the final seeking its second Men's World Cup championship, while Argentina was attempting to defend the title it won in 2022. The match remained scoreless through regulation, but Argentina's position became more difficult when Enzo Fernández received a second yellow card during second-half stoppage time for a challenge on Pau Cubarsí. That left Argentina with 10 players heading into extra time. Spain finally broke through in the 106th minute. Nico Williams delivered the ball into the area and substitute Ferran Torres finished the move, scoring what became the only goal of the final. Spain protected the lead through the remaining minutes and secured its first World Cup title since 2010. For the Spanish players, the final whistle was the beginning of a historic celebration. For several Argentina players, it marked the end of a difficult title defense and the beginning of the incident now under investigation. The confrontation appears to have begun as Spain's substitutes ran onto the field to join the celebration. Footage reviewed by multiple outlets appeared to show Argentina defender Nahuel Molina making a striking or swinging motion toward Spain captain Rodri's chest. Rodri then shoved Molina, and the two moved toward each other as more players entered the area. Because angles and descriptions differ, it is safest to say Molina appeared to attempt or make physical contact rather than state conclusively that a clean punch landed. Spain defender García then became involved. Leandro Paredes approached García and appeared to place a hand around his neck or throat area during the exchange. Images and video show García and Paredes in direct physical contact, but the precise force, duration, and intent will be matters for FIFA's investigators to assess rather than conclusions that can be established from a single still image. Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni moved into the confrontation and attempted to separate players. Reuters reported that Scaloni was trying to calm the situation as players from both teams exchanged shoves and had to be physically pulled apart. That is an important detail because the images show a large crowd, but participation was not equal. Some people were confronting opponents, others were trying to separate them, and several players were not involved at all. The confrontation then widened. Paredes became involved with Gavi, who had already been exchanging words with Argentina's Thiago Almada. Reuters reported that Paredes shoved Gavi to the ground, while People's review of the footage described Paredes wrestling the Spanish midfielder down. Spanish teammates then moved toward the pair, adding more bodies to a scene that was already difficult for officials and coaches to control. Paredes was subsequently shown a red card after the final whistle. That card was separate from the earlier dismissal of Enzo Fernández during the match. People reported that Paredes had already been booked during play and received another booking for his role in the post-match confrontation, resulting in the red card. FIFA's investigation may now go beyond the referee's immediate decision by examining video and reports from the entire sequence. A separate portion of the footage was reported to show Argentina assistant coach Daniel Ayala making contact with Spain's Dani Olmo. That part of the incident requires additional caution because it has been described through media analysis of video rather than through a published FIFA finding. The reported action may form part of the investigation, but there has been no official disciplinary decision confirming Ayala's responsibility or defining the contact under FIFA's code. This is where the story changed after the original confrontation report. FIFA first said its independent disciplinary committee was assessing the match reports and relevant circumstances. Later, Reuters reported that a disciplinary and ethics prosecutor had formally been appointed. That represents an active investigative step, but it is not a ruling of guilt against every person seen in the footage. Reports have raised the possibility of multi-match suspensions. FIFA's disciplinary provisions can impose suspensions of at least 3 matches when conduct is formally classified as assault or certain forms of violent misconduct. However, that does not mean a 3-match ban has automatically been imposed on Paredes, Molina, or anyone else. Investigators must first determine what happened, identify each participant, and decide which code provisions apply. FIFA's legal portal identifies the disciplinary code as the governing framework, while the final penalty remains for the independent disciplinary process to decide. The distinction between evidence and interpretation is especially important with Molina's exchange with Rodri. Some headlines have described punches being thrown. The footage may support an investigation into an attempted or completed strike, but the available reports do not establish whether every swinging motion landed or caused injury. Rodri's retaliatory shove is also visible and could be reviewed as part of the full sequence rather than isolated from what happened immediately beforehand. The same caution applies to the contact between Paredes and García. Images appear to show Paredes' hand at Garcia's neck or throat, but headlines vary between grabbed, shoved, and putting a hand on the Spanish defender. Those descriptions are similar but not legally identical. FIFA can review additional camera angles, referee reports, and testimony unavailable to viewers watching short social media clips. Public reaction quickly focused on Argentina's conduct, but it would be inaccurate to describe the entire team as participating in the confrontation. Scaloni was reported to be intervening to calm players. Lionel Messi's first public message after the final focused on the pain of losing, gratitude for Argentina's run, and congratulations to Spain. Messi's response did not address the brawl directly, but his congratulatory message provided a different public image from the confrontations occurring elsewhere on the field. Messi said the defeat would take time to process and emphasized that Argentina had reached 2 consecutive World Cup finals. He also thanked supporters and recognized Spain's championship. There was immediate speculation that the match could have been his final World Cup appearance, but he did not announce an international retirement in that statement. Any claim that his national team career is officially over would therefore go beyond what he publicly confirmed. Spain's federation focused its public coverage on the championship itself. Its official match report confirmed the 106th minute goal, the 1-0 result, and Spain's second world title. The federation's account also documented Fernandez's dismissal before extra time, but did not make the post-match confrontation the center of its championship announcement. Argentina's federation reported that part of the team and staff returned to Buenos Aires on July 20th, including Paredes. Its public return home report praised the team's tournament run and described the supporters who welcomed the delegation. That announcement did not directly address the FIFA investigation or offer a public explanation of the confrontation. The timing of the investigation matters because the World Cup had already ended. A suspension cannot change the score or remove Spain's title, but it could affect the availability of players in future international matches. FIFA could also consider individual fines, team or federation responsibility, warnings, or action against staff members, depending on what the prosecutor concludes. Those are possible categories, not announced punishments. The red card shown to Paredes provides the clearest immediate disciplinary fact. Beyond that, the investigation must determine whether Molina's movement toward Rodri constituted a strike, whether Paredes' contact with García and Gavi qualifies for additional punishment, whether Spanish players' responses require review, and whether any technical staff participated in misconduct. FIFA has not publicly identified every person under investigation. What also remains unclear is the exact trigger. The celebration began when Spain's substitutes entered the field, but the publicly available footage starts from different moments and angles. It does not provide a complete audio record of what was said or show every interaction that occurred immediately before the first visible contact. Claims about insults, provocation, or private comments should not be treated as fact without official evidence or an attributable statement. There is also no publicly announced timetable for a ruling. FIFA may need to gather referee and match delegate reports, review broadcast and stadium footage, contact the federations, and allow accused participants an opportunity to respond. Until that process is completed, reported 3-match bans remain possibilities rather than confirmed outcomes. Here's the start line takeaway. What changed after the original story is that FIFA moved from reviewing the immediate match reports to appointing a prosecutor. That gives the controversy an official disciplinary path. What viewers should not assume is that every Argentina player participated, that every reported punch landed, or that the length of any suspension has already been determined. The public record supports several firm conclusions. Spain defeated Argentina 1-0 after extra time. Ferran Torres scored in the 106th minute. Enzo Fernández was dismissed before extra time. A confrontation erupted after the final whistle. Paredes clashed with García and Gavi and was shown a red card. Multiple players exchanged shoves. Scaloni tried to intervene, and FIFA has opened an investigation. The public record does not yet establish the final disciplinary classification, the complete list of people facing charges, the length of any suspension, or whether staff members will also be sanctioned. Those answers will come only when FIFA announces a decision or provides another official update. For Spain, the enduring result is a second World Cup championship. For Argentina, the defeat ended its attempt to win consecutive titles. But for Paredes and potentially others involved in the confrontation, the final whistle did not end the tournament story. It began a disciplinary case whose consequences are still being decided.